Okay, welcome to Android Touch PC. Today we're going over the Samsung S5PV210 firmware upgrade, and you can get that from our website at androidtouchpc.com under the ROMs tab, Tablet ROMs, and you'll be redirected to our store on payloads, and you'll see the current releases that we're working on. In this particular tutorial, we're going over the Samsung S5PV210, also known as the Hero Tab Mid 816 or the Touch 8 Elite. Has a few other names as well, and I'm sure more will be cloned here shortly. But once you get your download and purchase it here from the store, you'll be giving a download link in your email within 12 hours. We say 12 hours because we wait for all the credit cards to be processed and all that fun stuff. But once you receive that email, go ahead and download the Touch 8 Elite.zip file to your desktop, which will be right here. Once it's on your desktop, you're going to extract the zip file to another folder on your desktop, and in that folder you're going to have the USB driver, Touch 8 instructions, which is a text file that we'll go over, Touch 8 Elite Updater Setup, which is the actual application, and the update.atp, which is the image file itself. So go ahead and extract that to your desktop. As you can see, I've done that already. Here's a folder, Touch 8 Elite, and there's the same files that were in the zip file. Alright, first file I'm going to open up is the Touch 8 instructions, which I've done right here. And in the instructions, you'll see steps 1 through 14 on updating your firmware. This actually was helped or done by Tasselhoff on Slate Droid. Appreciate it. He was one of the first people to download the firmware and did a quick little bullet list of what we need to do. So following his instructions, first thing, download the firmware, extract the files, which we've done. Next step, install the Touch 8 Elite Updater setup.exe, which is in your folder on your desktop at this point. Go ahead and run that. I've already installed it on my computer, so we're just going to ignore that. It's going to install, close. It's a simple 2-second install. Then you're going to go to your All Programs. Under Android Touch PC will be a new folder that was just created unless you've installed previous applications of ours. And within that you'll see the Touch 8 Elite Updater. We'll go ahead and open that and put it down here. Okay, so step 3, install Touch 8 Elite Updater setup.exe, which we've done. Next step, copy the update.atp to a spare 8 GB micro SD card. Now, it will not at this point work on a 4 GB or 2 GB SD card. Right now you have to use an 8 GB. We should be able to get that fixed here shortly, but for now you still have to use an 8 GB micro SD card or 16 GB, anything bigger than 8 GB. 8 GB or bigger. How about that? Alright, so go over to your folder on your desktop, grab that update.atp, plug your external SD card into your PC, and as you can see, I've already formatted the SD card to a FAT32, and I've copied the update.atp file over to my micro SD card right here. Okay, once it's copied over there completely, you're going to take it out of your computer and insert it into your Samsung tablet. Tablet should be off at this point. Okay. At this point I have the update.atp file copied over to the 8 GB SD card and inserted into my tablet with the power off. Moving to step 5. Make sure your tablet is running the 1.6 firmware or earlier. Now what that means is we found out after the fact that there's a bunch of firmwares out there, 114, 118, 119 for the Hero Tab Mid 816, and if you're running any of those current firmwares, you will have to get a script from us to update the SD card paths, because the firmware on these particular dates is not going to be the same as the application is referencing. Okay, so if you're running the January 06 firmware or earlier, any of the firmwares directly from the manufacturer, you should be fine. The application will recognize the SD card path. If not, just email us at support@androidtouchpc.com and we'll get you those paths, and we should have those updated into the zip file, and it would be a folder called patch files, which you would install, run the script. It would update the SD card paths for the application to recognize on these future firmwares, or more current firmwares. How about that? Number 6, boot the tablet with the external SD card installed. Alright, so I have a USB cable connecting the PC to the tablet, and I am going to power it on. And you heard my computer recognizing the USB drivers. Now, if you don't have the current USB drivers for your device, there's some instructions up here if you're running Windows XP and getting the correct drivers. We actually included some USB drivers in the folder right here that you can reference. If none of that works, and say you're running Windows 7, I use occasionally PDA-Net, which is an Android application that has a lot of the drivers as well, and I've used that to run on my Windows 7, which this current PC is, with a 64-bit, and I can get to all my devices. But if you have any problems recognizing your device, just definitely email us at support. Alright, step 6, boot the tablet with the external SD card. Connect the mid 816 tablet via mini USB port to your PC, which we've done. Open the Touch 8 Elite Updater, which you can see right here. Click on Use USB. Verify it says tablet found. We have the current drivers, so we have found tablet, no problem. Like I said, if you don't see found, it says tablet not found, you're going to need to follow the steps. Up here, if you have XP, install PDA-Net if you have Windows 7, or there's some other ways to get the drivers as well. Alright. So, step 10, optional, click on Backup Current. We advise you to back up your current ROM, whether it be the factory ROM or the ROM that you've already updated yourself, just in case you don't like this particular ROM or yours is better in your opinion. You can back up your ROM here. It will create an image on the SD card which you can copy over to your PC. And here's the steps to do a backup. Once you've done the backup, or if you decide just to skip that step, you're going to go to step 11, which will say click on Flash Complete, which we will do right now. An egg timer will pop up. This flash process takes approximately 20 minutes. It could be a little less, but just to be on the safe side, 20 minutes. The easiest way to brick a tablet is to disconnect the device or interrupt this flashing process in the 20 minutes. So it's important that your tablet is charged beforehand so that it's able to withstand the duration of the flash process. And that's about it. Let this timer go down to 20 minutes, to 0. At that point, your tablet will be probably frozen. It will seem that it's frozen and you cannot do anything. You're going to do a soft reset. Now, this doesn't have a pinhole or a button that you press. You simply hold the middle front face button for a good 10-15 seconds, and then it will turn off on its own, okay? And then you'll reboot the tablet. On the first reboot, sometimes the cache loading will cause the world screen to hang or get stuck at that. Once again, hold the middle front facing button for 10-15 seconds, reboot it once again, and you should be fine. Okay? That's it for now. I apologize for my throat. I have a terrible cold right now, but we will get back to you with some updates. We should have gingerbread on its way. We should have a lot more updates and fixes on this particular ROM. It's the first ROM for this tablet. We understand that it's not going to blow you away, but there is definitely more to come, and those who stick with us and support us from the beginning obviously are going to get the better support and the more features and bells and whistles. Alright, thanks. Have a good one.